All right. Morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Hey, you're looking extra festive, Pastor Eric.
Hey, this is our Christmas episode here. This is our Christmas episode of King Street Kids Q&A. So,
Hey.
yes, I'm feel festive.
Yeah. All right. Well, for this morning, we wanted to bring to the kids the Christmas story to be all Christmas stories, the very best, the original Christmas story, the one from Luke.
Oh, very good. There we go. I love that. I love that.
Everybody got their Bibles?
Yes.
All right. Let's get this started. All right. So from Luke chapter 2, we'll begin. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord.
This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace among those whom he favors.
It's a good story.
Yes, indeed. It's interesting, though, when we read that story, that we had Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. We had an emperor and we had a governor. But there were some characters that we were kind of missing. Like, what about the wise men? Like, we always talk about wise men, and they're in our little nativity scene. So where do the wise men come in?
It's a good question, Pastor. So some scholars think they showed up later, but probably not in time for Christmas breakfast. Probably not there at the right after the birth of Jesus. The other is what did Mary ride? The pictures that we see always show Mary and Joseph and Mary's riding a donkey, and we would think probably she would, if she was expecting, she would need something, but we really don't know if there was a donkey. But that's kind of in our heads as part of the story. Well, the other is the innkeeper.
Yeah, where's the innkeeper? Because
So,
the innkeeper's always in the Christmas pageant, telling them there's no room in the inn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like our little Christmas pageant's like a concoction of multiple gospels.
Yeah. Well, if there's an inn that said there was no room in the inn, we would assume there would be an innkeeper. And like the Charlie Brown Christmas special, there was an innkeeper's wife, but it's not in the story. So we've created part of that in our heads. Is it right or wrong? I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's just part of the way we think of the story ourselves. Maybe because that's the way we thought of it when we first heard it when we were little boys and girls. Yeah. Yes. What about the animals? What about the animals in the nativity?
Yeah, like we always talk about oxen were there and donkeys were there, but it just it doesn't mention it. But I don't think it's a bad thing to think that there were animals there. You know, we think about sheep because the shepherds show up, but yeah, it's.
Man, I hope there was something exotic, like a peacock.
Wouldn't that be cool? Well, some of this I think comes from, when we think about cattle, we talk about the cattle are lowing, that or mooing. That comes from the song "Away in a Manger." So that came from the song where we get that idea. And
which was written in Pennsylvania in the mid 19th century in America. So
and then
again, we
oxen,
can't not hear that.
Yeah, and then oxen and donkeys. That comes from the song "What Child Is This?" So I think a lot of our pictures around Christmas are influenced by the songs we sing too.
The most important part is that Jesus was born in very humble surroundings. The King of Kings, the Prince of Peace, the Good Shepherd, the Bread of Life, all of these important titles for this important baby came upon his birth, and it wasn't in the care of physicians and doctors, and it was in a very humble start.
Well, one of my favorite parts about Christmas, and this leads us to our next question. One of my favorite parts about Christmas is the music. I have to say, just the music, the songs. I love singing. So I have to ask, what's your favorite Christmas carol, or what are your favorite Christmas carols?
I don't know. That's a hard question. Because so many of them, it's not like they're favorites. It just depends on the mood.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I give you a few. I'll just say a few, and then maybe come to a very favorite. I love "Angels We Have Heard on High." That's a great one. I love "Good Christian Friends Rejoice." I love "Good Christian Friends Rejoice." I love that one. I love one that I've discovered in recent years, probably the past 6-7 years. "Love Has Come." I love that one. That's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. I have a lot of favorites here, but those are three that come to mind. What about you, PR?
But in terms of Christmas songs, I think, and it's just purely because it's so much fun to sing, "Angels We Have Heard on High." When you hit the Gloria, and it's just this long Gloria, I really just like that. And then I really like "The First Noel," and "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." I like that one. Yeah. Well, in sort of the similar vein, what are some of your favorite Christmas traditions, and will you be able to do them this year, or will you have to change them up a little bit?
I love Christmas, my favorite time of the year. I love Advent. And so I have so many rituals. One of the ones that seemed silly to do in a way this year, because it was just an odd year, was to decorate. Would I spend 3 days decorating all these decorations, which don't seem to mean much until you think about them, and yet the decorations actually mean a lot to our rituals together. And I thought this was a year that we absolutely must have Christmas decorations up. So I did them, and that was probably the most of all the rituals. That's one of the best, one of my favorite, because it's at the beginning. It's anticipating all of this to come. So I would say Christmas decorating.
Nice. Yeah. What about you, Daniel?
My family has always gone the day after Thanksgiving, in strong opinion coming here, to get our Christmas tree. If you have fake trees, get out. Stop. That's ridiculous. Real tree or nothing at all. I choose to stand on that hill. And we always make a big trip up to North Carolina to cut ours down. And so we had actually been going to this one tree farm for, like 14, 15 years at this point. So they unfortunately closed. But we found this new one, and it was ironic because this year we drove 2 hours to Cashiers. We spent 5 minutes at the farm, and my dad goes, "That's our tree," and it's perfect. It's this like beautiful, like picture perfect, immaculate Christmas tree, like the perfect shape, everything. And I just laughed because he found it, almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the big Christmas tradition that we're allowed to, that we have continued, and that I'm able to regularly participate in.
So we have a couple in our family. So one that's had to shift over time is that we would always go as a family to church together on Christmas Eve. And that one has shifted even pre-COVID, because now being a pastor and my mom's an organist, and we're not at the same church, it's definitely, you have to change and shift that pattern up. And so it's now more of like, well, we're kind of worshiping at the same time, and that's really cool. And but with my family now, we really live into and celebrate embracing the 12 days of Christmas, that Christmas goes from, December 25th to January 6th, and celebrating in between just counts, because we're all over the place. And so in order to get around and see everybody, you do need the whole 12 days of Christmas to do it. Obviously this year it's going to look different because of COVID. We're going to have to do some social distancing and stuff, but we really like that Christmas goes all the way till January 6th.
Daniel, would it put you on the spot to talk about the other tradition where your family does the blood thing?
We all donate, like my mom, my brother, and my dad, we all donate platelets. And usually, like, the blood center's open on Christmas Day, and so they're always looking to meet quotas. So we all just go after, like, I think it's usually in the afternoon. We've done some, we like 12 o'clock or something. We'll just go and donate platelets on Christmas Day.
Sounds like we're set for a good Christmas, even in COVID.
Exactly. This year is a gift. We just have to see the gifts in the hay. We have to search through the manger hay and all of the straw and find the gift, because the gifts may not be so obvious this year, but they are there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good Christmas show, everybody.
Yeah. And
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, hope our boys and girls have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas.
All right.
All right, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.